Welcome back, everyone, here to Bronx Talks. Today, I got a very special video for you guys. We are going to be ranking the top five greatest teams in Yankees history. Obviously, there's so many to choose from. It was really, really hard for us to rank and only can have five of them in here. But we decided to give you this video, the top five greatest teams in Yankees history. So let's get it started off.
At number 5, we have the 1928 team. They won 101 games in the regular season and then went on to sweep the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. Now, this was back when the only playoff round was the World Series. The best team in the National League plays the best team in the American League. And this team was full of stars. You had guys like Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, who both ended up hitting 3 homers in the World Series. That's 3 homers in just 4 games. And the whole lineup was really excellent. Murderers Row, and overall, the 1920s were one of the greatest decades for the Yankees teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Those teams were not going to be stopped. I mean, that's the bottom line. You have some all-time great players, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig. Those teams were just not going to be stopped. That was the bottom line. They were not going to be stopped. And the sweep over the St. Louis Cardinals just shows that 4-0, swept them, absolutely dominant. No one could compete with those Yankees teams. And definitely some of the greatest teams in baseball history and sports history as well. At number 4, we got the 2009 Yankees winning 103 and 59 in the regular season, 11 and 4 in the postseason, and in the World Series beat the Philadelphia Phillies in 6 games, winning the series 4-2. This team was absolutely dominant, had one of the greatest infields of all time. You had Alex Rodriguez at third base, Derek Jeter at shortstop, Robinson Cano at second base, and Mark Teixeira at first. Absolutely dominant. The infield was unreal. All those guys could pick it with the glove, all respected at their position, and could do it with the bat as well. Definitely made some smooth plays over there on the diamond. And just dominant infield, clutch hitting in the postseason by guys like A-Rod and Derek Jeter, obviously, Mark Teixeira as well. The perfect mix of power, speed, and contact, and a really, really balanced out lineup of lefties and righties. Not only that, had a few switch hitters in there too. Absolutely dominant. The team was constructed perfectly by the New York Yankees front office, and just a great, great team. You had CC on the mound as the ace. You had guys like Pettit in there as well, the veteran. It was just the perfect mix, the perfect blend, and it was an absolutely dominant, great New York Yankees team.
100%. And I would hope that they would be good because they spent a lot of money in the offseason trying to get one last ring for George Steinbrenner. But just looking at this team, I have their baseball reference page on my phone. That lineup is absurd.
Yeah.
You have Melky Cabrera, who is the one hitter on that team that has an OPS plus below 118. So that lineup was ridiculous. And then even on the bench, I mean, you have guys like Brett Gardner, who we all love Brett Gardner, Francisco Cervelli, who was a fun Yankee, and the rotation too. This was a very complete team, worth a lot of money,
Absolutely.
but really a great team.
Yeah, Hideki Matsui as well. Absolutely, probably the most clutch hitter on the team. I mean, what he did in the World Series was absolutely unreal. And like you said, just the perfect mix of players, the perfect group. They had a ton of walk-offs that season. They had a lot of fun playing baseball. They had the whole thing with the pies. Obviously, like I just said, what Matsui did in the World Series, just a perfect, complete team. There was not a hole in that team. At number 3, we got the 1961 New York Yankees, the M&M boys, Mantle and Maris. Mantle hitting 54 home runs in the regular season, and Maris hitting 61 home runs in the regular season. Combined hit 115 home runs between the two of them, and that's combined for 269 RBIs. They were just unreal. The power threat in that lineup was absolutely unreal. You couldn't pitch to either of them, and then you had to, and it was just home run, home run, home run. They finished with 109 wins in the regular season, which is third most in franchise history. Roger Maris won the AL MVP, which was his second of his career, and Cy Young winner Whitey Ford pitched his way to a 2-0 record in the championship series, earning himself an MVP. And in the World Series, they beat the Reds in 5 games, winning the series 4-1. Just absolutely unreal. The power was crazy in that lineup. You had Hall of Famers, Mickey Man. It was just a complete team, awesome team, one of the greatest in Yankees history.
At number 2, we have the 1927 team. This was, when you think of Murderers Row, you think of 1927. The lineup consisted of 4 future Hall of Famers, and this team really proved it. 110 wins in the regular season, and they swept the Pittsburgh Pirates in the World Series. Babe Ruth set what was the home run record at the time at 60. And at the time, a player couldn't win MVP back-to-back seasons. If that wasn't the case, Babe Ruth would have won. But since it was, Lou Gehrig got an MVP. He had 47 home runs with 173 RBIs, which just doesn't seem like a real number. And overall, this lineup, it's probably one of the greatest lineups of all time.
Yeah, definitely in baseball history, like you said, greatest of all time. I mean, this team was really, really good. If you want to put them at number one, you certainly can. I mean, I actually asked Christian, maybe we should do like a 1A and 1B because the 1927 Yankees definitely should be up there at number one. And they were just a great, great team. Murderers Row. I mean, no one was beating the 1927 Yankees. No one. And the sweep shows that over the Pirates just being absolutely dominant. And, I bet watching this team back in the day was so fun. But just an absolutely great team. At number one, we got the 1998 New York Yankees. Definitely considered one of the best teams in baseball history and definitely one of the best, probably the best team in New York Yankees history. Finished with 114 wins in the regular season, most by any Yankee team ever. During the postseason, they managed to go 11-2, sweeping the Padres in the World Series, featuring a 20-game winner in David Cone, an 18-game winner in David Wells, and a 16-game winner in Andy Pettitte. This team was absolutely dominant, complete team, and they were put together perfectly. Super clutch team, and they didn't lose many games.